Yeah, my peoples. Welcome to Box Center. Y'all already know what it is, man. We're gonna talk boxing out here. Yeah, let me get this volume down. Jump in with me, my peoples. Let's talk boxing. Y'all already know what it is, man. Box Center. Your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Yeah. A lot of stuff is going on with boxing, my people. A lot of stuff, interesting situations that are developing. Trying to see what's good, man. Who's gonna fight who? Who is. I've been saying it, that's been kind of like the topic of conversation. Who is Terence Crawford gonna fight next? Now that, the fight is over for Canelo Alvarez, where does Canelo go after, battering Edgar Berlanga? And, Jermel Charlo, he's in the mix. He's in the mix. He says, that he'll be back to 154. So, we could potentially see Terence Crawford versus Mel Charlo, which obviously that's a super interesting fight. I would love to see it. And where is Shakur Stevenson gonna go next? He's now a champion, in the division. Well, he's been a champion, but where does he go from here? Who does he go after? Because obviously, Shakur wants a fight with Tank. He wants to fight Lomachenko. But neither one of those guys really want that action with Shakur. If you think about it, Lomachenko could have fought Shakur the last few years. And apparently he could have got a career payday fighting Shakur. And he declined it. So he doesn't want to fight Shakur. And I don't know. It's looking like it's possible that Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis could mix it up. And you know why I think that Shakur and Tank may end up, sharing the ring? Because remember, Tank's team was considering the possibility of him facing Pitbull next, right? A rematch with Pitbull. But, as you know, Pitbull got beat by Rayo Valenzuela. So, the rematch with Tank is pretty much off the table. But you can forget about that. At least for now, that fight is not happening. So, I'm thinking to myself, Tank's options right now would be to challenge Rayo Valenzuela for that title he took from Pitbull, or he can go ahead and finally fight Shakur Stevenson. I'd like to see him fight Shakur Stevenson next, but if he goes after Rayo Valenzuela, that would also be a heck of a fight. I would like to see it as well. So what do you guys think, man? What fights, would you like to see happen? Would you like Tank to fight Rayo? Would you like him to fight Shakur? Or, is there someone else? Do you want him to fight, a different fighter? Remember, my peoples, this is Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Don't forget to subscribe, my people. I'm telling you, we got the fire content coming up. But again, we're going to be talking about Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Stevenson, Jermel Boots Ennis. Remember, my peoples, Boots is trying to get that fight with Crawford too. And he already said that he's willing to move up to 154 to make that fight happen. This is what I find interesting. Crawford has options right now. So he could not get the fight with Canelo, cool. But he has options because now he got Eddie Hearns wants him to fight Boots. And then we have Turkey, His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh saying that, hey, he's willing to make the fight with Virgil Ortiz. What are your thoughts on Errol Spence? He kind of just ghosted after his Crawford loss. Listen, man, Errol Spence, to be honest, I think he kind of went in the same path as the Charlos, where, he's made a lot of money and he started living the happy life. You see him, even before the Crawford fight, you saw him drinking a lot, smoking, partying, like having a good time with the rappers and all that shit. So I think Errol Spence, his personal life affected his boxing career. As you can see, he hasn't been active for over a year at this point. And I think that his personal life looked like it was already going downhill, and then fighting Crawford and taking that nasty loss, I think he just went downhill from there. In fact, I believe that him and Fundora did not fight when they were supposed to, or it was pushed to a later date because Errol wasn't in shape to fight that soon. I seen pictures, the most recent pictures that I saw, he looked a little bit overweight. He looked like he wasn't ready, to be no training camp and fight a world champion caliber type of guy. I mean, no, you're right. He had amazing boxing performances, and I believe that he can still put up a great performance. But let me tell you something, man. A loss like the one that Errol Spence took to Bud Crawford, that changes a fighter. That can change a fighter forever. There's fighters that took a beating like that, and they never went back to being the same. We don't know what type of Errol Spence we're going to get when he goes in the ring. Fundora presents some serious challenges because he's way taller, so he has the height and reach advantage. Spence is gonna have to get on the inside. He's gonna have to try to get on the inside, try to work the body, and it's gonna be tough. If he takes a nasty loss to Fundora, I think that's pretty much gonna wrap up his career. That's it. He's gonna be looked at as someone who was a great fighter, but Crawford ended him. So I think there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Errol Spence to perform. And I'm gonna tell you something interesting, my brother. I don't know if this fight with Errol Spence and Fundora is actually gonna happen. I'm gonna be willing to accept that it's happening, when we're close to it. They're in training camp. They already did all the press conferences. Then I'm going to say this fight is happening. But you know why I say that? Because you got to remember, Crawford was stuck waiting for Errol for almost a year. If you remember last year, first they said that the rematch was going to happen in November. Then they said it was going to happen like in March of this year. And then finally Spence, when that year deadline was about to pass, he said, well, I'm not doing the rematch anymore. I'm not interested. So basically, he held Crawford down, stuck to that rematch clause. Crawford couldn't fight anybody else. And at the end of the year, he just said, I'm not going to do the rematch anymore. So now I'm wondering, there's already one delay with the Spencer Fundora fight. Just like there was a delay with the Spence Crawford rematch. So are we actually going to get it? Or is Errol Spence, going to get out of hand or getting out of hand in his personal life? And in a couple of months, they're just going to say, oh, well, Fundora versus Spence is not happening either. Spence needs more time. He got personal stuff. So I don't know, man. I got to see it happen because Errol Spence pulled out of that Bud Crawford rematch. And I want to actually see him, getting ready to make this fight happen, to believe that it's happening. Right now, I don't know. I don't know if Spence and Fundora is actually going to happen. Fundora versus Errol Spence or Ryan Garcia next summer. Listen. Remember, let me tell you something. Fundora versus Spence, I think it's supposed to happen like in November of this year. But they have not officially announced it. They have not officially given us a date. So I'm wondering, I don't know if y'all remember, but when Jermel Charlo was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu, they kept playing that game. Delaying. No, he got an injury. Delay some more. And then eventually what happened? He ended up never fighting Tim Tszyu. He ended up, going to Canelo, taking that loss to Canelo and making all that money, obviously. But, honestly, I'm disappointed that we never got Charlo and Tim Tszyu, a while back when we should have got it when Tim was his mandatory. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That's the way it worked out. Now, Ryan Garcia Well, we're not gonna get we can't get Ryan Garcia by next summer because remember he's banned for a year. So for a whole year he can't fight. When he comes off of that ban, let's see who he's gonna fight first. He's gonna be inactive for a year, so I'm guessing he's not gonna go into a big fight right away. He might grab an easy fight, or if Devin Haney stays inactive, waiting for Ryan, then there's a chance that Ryan might come back and go straight into the Devin Haney rematch. They will make a lot of money, and that's a rematch that people will be interested in watching. You know the whole situation with the Ryan Garcia testing positive for steroids. So Devin, he won his rematch, and they're going to make a lot of money in that rematch. I believe that the rematch is actually going to generate more money than the first fight. Why? Because, Ryan Garcia, steroids or not, he shocked the world. Nobody can say that they were expecting Ryan Garcia to not just beat Devin Haney, but like beat him up really badly, like put the beats on him. Nobody could say they was expecting that. In fact, there were actually talks about Devin Haney going for the stoppage. Devin Haney going into that fight planning on stopping Ryan and making a statement. And I'm not going to say no names, but I asked a few pro fighters who know Devin Haney. I was like, Devin is talking about he trying to get that stoppage. Is that real talk? And a few people told me, like, he trying to get that stoppage, man. He trying to beat Ryan up, put the nasty beat down on Ryan Garcia. And we saw how that played out, man. Ryan Garcia showed out, and then he tested positive for steroids. Now, did he take steroids unknowingly? Was it, tainted supplements? We really don't know. But at the end of the day, he tested positive. He beat the crap out of Devin, and now Devin wants his rematch. I would like to see the rematch. I'm telling you right now. I think that's a very interesting fight. And obviously, when I think about that fight, throughout the whole, pressers and build up, I remember that Devin kept saying that Ryan Garcia, all he has is that left hook. All he has is that left hook. And I can't believe that, you talk about it. You talk about you plan for that left hook because that's all he got. And then when it came time to fight, Ryan just kept catching him with that left hook over and over. Boom, boom, boom. It's like Devin was winning rounds and catching Ryan with some good shots, but every time he got caught with that left hook, man, he got wobbled. He got hurt. And he just kept eating that left hook. He just couldn't avoid it. So, I don't know what happened there. I think part of that is, even though they fought in the amateurs, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney shared the ring like 5 times, or I think 6 times in the amateurs. So they know each other. Even though they're professionals, they've gotten a lot better ever since then. But they know each other. They know each other's style. And Ryan Garcia, having shared the ring with Devin so many times as an amateur, he went into this fight feeling confident about himself. Like, I could really beat this guy up. And you saw that he had no respect for Devin Haney's power. None whatsoever. He kept walking him down. And, obviously, doing his movement, trying to block. But he ate Devin's shots like those things was nachos with cream cheese or something. Easy work. So what you think, my people? Should we get that rematch with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia when Ryan comes back from that ban? Or should Devin Haney just move on to somebody else? Let's see how that's going to play out. Ryan, I wish, man, he would have did it clean. And if he would have did it clean versus Devin, he would not have been suspended. And, he would have been able to be active. So inactivity is never good. Luckily for Ryan, he's still young. Taking a year off is not gonna affect him as far as his age, because when he comes back, he's still going to be in his mid-20s. Plenty of time to make some more big fights and maybe even try to chase the title. I want to see where he goes from there. Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia, that's a fight that I always wanted to see, man. Ever since they posted that sparring session with Rolly and Ryan, where Rolly was giving him the business. Rolly was putting all types of hands on Ryan. And ever since I saw that sparring session, I felt like it would be a great fight if they face each other. I'd like to see it happen, man. I'd like to see Devin and Ryan do their thing with each other. I mean, Ryan and Rollies. I think that they would definitely be a good fit for each other. They have a style that I think it would be fireworks. Fireworks. If Rollies, Rolando Romero, and Ryan Garcia fight each other, I guarantee you we would see fireworks. Because just like Devin and Ryan, Rollies and Ryan, they know each other. They shared the ring in sparring sessions. And they went hard with each other. They was trying to knock each other heads off. So they know what it's about, man. If those two get in the ring, you best believe they're going to be, throwing haymakers at each other. So check it, my peoples. This weekend, we got Tim Tszyu. I said Tim Tszyu. Wait a minute. This weekend, who's fighting this weekend, my people? I know there's a good fight this weekend. By the way, how do you think Edgar Berlanga versus Canelo Alvarez is gonna play out? How is that fight gonna play out? Because it seems like these two guys genuinely do not like each other. It really does look that way. And Canelo already told him, yo, it's going to be just 8 rounds. You're going to feel pain for 8 rounds, and then it's going to be over. So Canelo let him know to his face, you getting stopped. And then Berlanga is like, oh, I'm going to break your face. I'm going to break everything in your face. I don't know. I don't believe him. I don't believe he believed that shit. But, man, I want to see. I really want to see how that's going to play out. If I could give y'all my prediction, I do think Canelo is going to stop him. Just because, I don't know, man. Honestly, I've been disappointed in Edgar Berlanga. And the reason I say that is because I remember probably 3-4 years ago, when it was like him, Sanders Sayas, and a few other guys coming up, and the talk was like this Edgar Berlanga guy, he could be, the next Miguel Cotto, the next this and that, like the next great from Puerto Rico. And it seems like during the last 3-4 years, we haven't really seen that development from him. We haven't really seen him mature into this champion that at least I thought he was going to be by now. And it's like he was, destroying his opponents. But once he stepped up his competition, it's like he's been struggling with guys that are, not seen as that good, not top level guys, and he looks to be struggling with them. So, I don't know, man. I personally, I thought Berlanga was going to be, at this point in his career, I thought he was already going to be a champion, and he was already going to be, maybe have a couple of defenses or champion in multiple divisions. And he hasn't been a champion yet. Now he is young. Let's not, get ahead of ourselves. He's young. He still has a lot of time. But I don't think that he's in that same developmental process like Xander Sayas, for example, who looks like he's going to be ready for a title shot real soon. And I think he will win a title and then multiple titles after that. Edgar, I don't know. I don't know if it's because, at this point in his career, he's already made some money, seen some money, living a lifestyle, hanging out with famous people and all that good stuff. I don't know if he has that hunger, but he just hasn't looked, I think if you see an Edgar Berlanga fight from this year and you see an Edgar Berlanga fight from 3-4 years ago, he looks exactly the same. I don't see, improvements. I don't see new tools in the bag. I kind of see him doing the same things that he was doing before. And I think that's a sign of greatness when you see fighters that they're constantly, getting better. Like if you look at Terence Crawford, versus Errol Spence, you can see him raising that bar from previous performances. And you can see, okay, he's countering like this, he's moving like this. So the great ones, you can see little nuances that tells you, okay, yeah, he's stepping up. With Berlanga, to be honest, I haven't seen him. Let's see how he's gonna perform versus Canelo. Imagine if he shocked the world and beats Canelo. But I don't see that happening, my people. That's just me keeping it real. Let me see. That's just me keeping it real, my people. I do not see Edgar Berlanga being able to beat Canelo. I don't know what you guys think, but Berlanga hasn't performed in a way that makes me feel like he can win that fight. I'm just keeping it 100 with you, my peoples. Let me go ahead and share this real quick. I'm gonna copy that link. Wait a minute. Share.